The Cedarburg Water Recycling Center, also known as the Wastewater Treatment Plant, was built in 1934 on 11 acres of land in the southeast part of the city. It has gone through many upgrades through the years, the most significant back in 1988.
Typically our average flow is about 1.6 to 1.8 million gallons a day. The plant is designed to take on 2.75 million gallons a day, with the peak one-day flow of 8 million gallons. But as far as the wastewater itself, that's usually typically within a day. It makes its whole route through from the start all the way through the plant to the effluent.
The Water Recycling Center receives its operating budget through the customer charge and volume fees on your water bill. Revenue is also generated through fees charged to local septic companies. But with all things mechanical, major overhauls need to happen. And that's what the city is facing now. Most of the systems that recycle the wastewater are in need of significant repair, replacement, or expansion. And the clock is ticking. Before we get into those costs, let's take you through the process so you have a better understanding of what it takes to treat Cedarburg's wastewater. Throughout the city, there lies a network of pipes that transport waste away from homes and businesses and towards the WRC. Most of those pipes flow via gravity, but a series of lift stations help lower lying areas. Once the wastewater arrives at the center, it flows through a bar screen that filters out the larger pieces of waste, flushable wipes, debris, and even the occasional toy car. All that material is rinsed, compacted, and disposed of in the regular trash pickup. Wastewater then flows into the grit vortex system that removes rocks and stones that would interfere with the rest of the process. From there, it's stored in the influent wet well. This handles the various surges that happen during the day and stores the water before treatment. The actual treatment begins in the next stage, where the wastewater is pumped into the oxidation ditch. Here, aeration discs mix air into the water. The bacteria in the water feeds on oxygen from the air and begin to break down. After several laps of aeration, the water flows into the clarifiers, where the solids begin to settle. As the settling occurs, some of the water is returned to the oxidation ditch to provide additional nutrients to the bacteria. The solids that have settled out are sent to the gravity thickener and then pumped to the digesters, where they are aerated and stored. This sludge is picked up and transported to local farms for use as fertilizer. The clear water from the clarifiers is disinfected by ultraviolet light, aerated, tested, and discharged into Cedar Creek. Testing ensures it meets the Department of Natural Resources requirements for release into the environment.
The city's at a crossroads. We either rehabilitate our existing wastewater treatment plant, or we build a new plant on city-owned land. Either option has its pros and its cons. The plant meets our current needs, with the exception of sludge storage and drying. It's also probably easier to phase a rehabilitation. You could do smaller sections at different times, and of course, the lower cost. Some of the cons would be the current location is surrounded by homes, and it's on a side hill, which causes its own issues. The septage hauling trucks and sludge trucks have to drive through neighborhoods. There's no room for future expansion really at that existing site. And there's also going to be some big challenges in keeping the current plant operational during construction. The sludge storing and drying would have to be done at a different site, so you'd split your two sites up. Some of the pros for building a new site would be you meet all your current needs, including your sludge storing and drying. There's plenty of room for future expansion. You have easier truck access for those sludge trucks, and the current site would remain operational during construction. You also have a potential to sell the existing wastewater treatment plant site. Some of the cons are obviously the higher cost up front, and the phasing is more challenging with the new site. It's more of an all or nothing kind of option. Right now we haul away our sludge in a liquid form. In the future we would dry it down to its smallest amount, which would probably put it in the form of cement material.
The rehabilitation option will take several years, as the WRC will continue to operate as upgrades are implemented. Every step in the process will receive an upgrade. The bar screen will be widened to accommodate increased water flow. The grit vortex system will receive new motors and pumps. The influent wet well will be expanded to accommodate greater holding capacity. The oxidation ditch will be upgraded with a new paddle system, new drive motors, and be readied for an additional lane. The digesters will be replaced to better handle those biosolids. An additional clarifier might be added as well. A new hauler station will be built to better accommodate the incoming and outgoing trucks. A tertiary treatment facility will be built to comply with upcoming DNR regulations. The on-site lab will be upgraded along with the offices and ventilation system. And the 11 lift stations throughout the city will receive new motors and pumps as necessary.
Whether we rehab our existing plant or build a new one, both require a significant investment that our residents will have to bear. If we choose to rehab our existing water recycling center, the estimated cost is $82 million. To cover this, we anticipate an average annual rate increase of 8% through 2031. We will see an increase in our customer charge as well as our volume charge. This means that the average monthly bill, which is currently around $67 per month, would rise to around $106 per month in the next 6 years. On the other hand, if we decide to build a brand new water recycling center at the Pioneer Road site, the cost is estimated to be $124 million. The annual rate increase for this option is projected at 12.5%. With this option, we will see an increase in our customer charge and volume charge that would equate to the average monthly bill increasing from $67 per month to $136 per month within the same 6-year time frame. A 12% increase was already implemented as of January 1, 2025. The Pioneer Road site was purchased in early 2000s with a vision of building a new water recycling center there. It's an ideal location for this type of facility, but we are currently evaluating both options to determine the best path forward for our community. As the Common Council continues to assess these options, we encourage you to stay involved. Attend our meetings, share your thoughts, and let us know what matters most to you. Your feedback is essential as we work together to make the best decision for Cedarburg's future.